Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Use our link to sign up at audibletrial.com/RRBG. And you can get a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. They have about 180,000 titles you can choose from, including Requiem for the American Dream or Who Rules the World by Noam Chomsky. It's a great service, and if you subscribe to it, again, using our link, audibletrial.com/RRBG, you get the free 30-day trial, you get the free audiobook, and you help out the podcast. And if you stay subscribed, you get a free audiobook every month. In this episode, I talked to Alex Auxier. Alex is the Artist Relations Manager for Orange Amplifiers. We talk a little bit about politics. We go in depth about his job and how it is to deal with rock stars on a daily basis. We share some really funny stories, and we go real deep into some beer geekdom. I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to like and share and comment on all my social media posts. It really helps get my name out there. With that being said, enjoy the episode. Cheers.
Stuck a pin in your backbone, spoke you down from there. All I ever wanted was to be your spine. Lost your friction and you slid for a mile. Overdone, overdrive, overlive, override. You're not the one who let me down. But thanks for offering. It's not a voice and I'm not around.
Yeah, so I'm feeling this way.
I guess I should reciprocate.
Oh, what's up, sexy?
What's up? I've got water, coffee, and beer. I don't know what to start with.
What does that mean?
Well, coffee because I'm hungover, and beer because I'm drinking, and then water in case I need to clear my throat during the podcast, I guess. I don't know.
Nice. Okay. What do you got behind you there?
Oh, there's a bunch of shit. Chuck Palahniuk's severed hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it signed.
Yeah, I've met him a few times. We actually got married. It's weird.
That requires more explanation.
Well, I met him at a book signing, and after he did his thing, I asked him for a picture, and he's like, all right, cool, but put this on. And he gave me a veil, a wedding veil, and like flowers and shit, and we took a picture, and he, like husband and wife.
So he's just weird as fuck, basically.
Super weird. And after we took the picture, he's like, there, now you can tell people we're married. I'm like, okay.
That's so weird, dude.
But I've met him like 2 or 3 more times after that, and he remembers, so it's pretty cool. I'm like, all right. He signed my last book with To My Miami Bride. All right, welcome everyone to, I believe, episode 10.
So what's up?
Episode 10. I didn't think I was going to get to 10. I thought I would give up by now.
Oh, you have 10 podcasts?
This is number 10.
This is number 10. Wow, well, and in short order, you have managed to get some pretty decent-sized dudes on here.
I know, it's been wild.
Minus me.
It's been wild. Yeah, you're definitely, no, I'm kidding.
No, it's true. You don't have to sugarcoat it. It's
no,
fine.
man, you're, in all honesty, I respect what you're doing a lot more than...
This is going to get weird because I'm actually in my parents-in-law's bed.
Ooh.
I look like I'm getting ready to do like a porn.
Yeah, what are you doing? Put on some pants. Jesus.
Oh, I literally don't have any on, by the way.
Oh, God.
All right, there we go.
All right.
All right. Is your dick out?
My dick is out.
Let's get our dicks out, bro.
In hand. Ready to go.
I hope this makes it into the final podcast because basically, if somebody could see this right now, it looks like I just met you on Craigslist and hooked up with you online.
So, welcome everyone to episode 10. This day I am joined by Alex. Let me see if I get this right. I saw your post the other day.
Good luck.
Auxier?
It's very close. It's Auxier.
Auxier, okay.
Yeah.
I was going with the auxiliary, cable thing in my mind. I'm like, it's got to be something like that. Cool. Well, Alex, you are Artist Relations for Orange Amplifiers.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do.
So how did you end up there doing that?
Okay. Well, when I graduated from college in 2005, I didn't really feel like getting a full-time job yet. So I got an internship at Orange, and that lasted about 6 months. And then I went to Europe for a little while. When I came back, they had fired like half the staff. Way overstaffed. Ooh. And they're only making like $1 million a year in the USA.
Okay.
And so I went and did web development for a year with a couple buddies of mine that had started a company right out of college as well. We were offshoring web development to the Ukraine. And then that lasted almost exactly 1 year to the date. I quit when the brick got thrown through the window of our USA office because we hadn't paid off the right guys in Ukraine to protect our building there.
What?
So, yeah, true story.
That's real life? Jesus.
Yeah. So I quit. Also, it happened to be the same day that the owner was like, "Do you guys want to work for free for a couple months?" I'm like, "No, fuck no, fuck you." Yeah. And so, anyways, I went back to Orange. They had narrowed it down to like a 4-person team, just the right amount of people at the time. And I started in customer service, inside sales, and I did that for, close to a year. Then we had an AR guy who ended up leaving us rather unceremoniously. And when that happened, the three of us at that time, sat around in a room and said, well, who wants to do artist relations? And I raised my hand. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So I didn't exactly come into this game like the normal route. A lot of these dudes are like the guys that get hired at some of these companies. They've been musicians, touring musicians, full-time touring musicians. They want to get off the road. They go to a company, then they start it's very incestuous. They start moving in between the companies doing this job. I just got in at the right time, man. And, I've always played music and played in bands, but yeah. So anyways, that job, USA Artist Relations, has ballooned into International Artist Relations Director. And Jesus. I have 2 guys that work with me in the UK, and then I've got just a network of distributors around the world. And all of them usually have marketing, artist relations staff. So I'll interface with them to make sure bands have loaner gear, bands are getting good pricing if they're purchasing stuff, helping hook up those distributors with artists to do, content, video, photo, that kind of stuff.
Right. Like the stuff you see at NAMM.
Yeah,
like,
the stuff you see at NAMM, yeah.
Posters of them with the guitar and or the amp or whatever it is.
Yes.
So wait a minute. So you're handling all of this, every artist by yourself in the U.S.?
In the USA, yeah. For the most part. But like I said, USA is the biggest market for just about everybody. Mm-hmm. We have some of the biggest artists here, LA, New York. So I do most of that myself. But then, of course, I have a backline coordinator who helps with gear loans for bands in the UK. He does all of Europe. And then I have an artist guy on the ground in the UK as well. And, those are good guys to have because, we're a UK company. Mm-hmm. And we do all of our top level marketing out of there. So having those guys there on the ground to translate my needs, to translate the marketing team's needs to me, that kind of stuff is really important.
It's mind blowing to me because, how many artists are you guys working with just in the US?
Just in the USA, there's probably 350 artists.
It's a lot of people to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I would say 350 that are regularly in contact and are, staying in touch. The people come and go all the time, man. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that, my artist relations decisions have become more, streamlined, more specific, or basically it's harder to get an endorsement now. And that's because once I reply to an email, that person has my email forever, man. Yeah. Even if I say, okay, I'll just sell you something, and then maybe in 6 months we reevaluate the rest of the endorsement and everything. Man, it never goes away, dude. Sell somebody one thing, they're going to email you again asking if they can get the full endorsement. They're going to email you asking if you can help fix their stuff. They're going to email you introducing you to other people. It's never ending. So I don't know. I've become a real big asshole about new endorsements.
Well, I saw your new post from the website where you're talking about what to do or how to treat you, basically. And I thought it was pretty.
You like that?
It was awesome.
The gist of that article is that I'm just one dude. Worldwide, there's probably 800 to 1,000 Orange artists, and I'll do my best to keep them updated about product happenings and opportunities, but they have to stay in touch with me, and it's a good opportunity for them. I have a pretty big social media following. Mm-hmm. I also do all the Orange social media, and I'm looking for content for that all the time. So when I've got artists that are proactive about that and actually send me stuff, that's a huge help. And it's a huge help for them too, because a lot of these artists, I have a bigger social media following than.
Yeah. And that's sound advice for anything, not just getting, your sponsorship or maintaining your sponsorship, but just being active in your band is super important. A lot of smaller bands just don't do work. You know what I mean? They do work by writing music and stuff like that, but you still got to do work. You still got to promote. You still got to make flyers and merchandise and bullshit and make phone calls, it's work.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my favorite parts about that is that it's usually the smaller bands that are the most proactive. You know, the big guys, they don't give a shit, man.
Yeah.
They have managers, they have handlers. Those are the guys where, like, not only do I end up giving them something probably, but I also have to put all the effort into going and getting the photo and the video.
Right.
And if I don't do it, I don't get it.
Yeah, and it takes also, you know, kind of befriending them a bit, I would assume, like on a personal level, so that they, you know, in their rock star mind, they remember who you are, and they're like, oh yeah, let me hang out with this dude, and yeah, this is important, I guess, you know. So
that might literally be the thing that is most necessary to be an artist relations guy, man. Is just the personal skills. Like, straight up, you know, man. I mean, these people are nuts. A lot of them are nuts. I mean, you know, you hang out with these dudes. Yeah. They're nuts, man, and they're emotional wrecks sometimes. And they don't trust people a lot because they think that you're just trying to take advantage of them. Mm-hmm. So you got to really just be their friend, man, and you got to be open and honest with them.
Yeah, it's true. It's, you know, within the last couple of years, I've definitely increased the number of friends that I have in the industry, not just through the podcast, but through the beer industry stuff too. It's just easy. Like, everybody in a band wants to drink beer, and I love fucking music, so it's makes perfect sense. What was I saying? So yeah, Warped Tour looks cool. I'm excited this year for once to go. I remember when it was cool, man. I remember going and it was Dillinger and Every Time I Die, and I would just go rage my face off, you know, Glassjaw, Poison the Well, and I don't know. It's not like that anymore.
How old are you?
35, turning 36.
Okay, well, I just turned 34, so we're in the same place, man. One of my best concert experiences ever was Warped Tour, man. I mean, I think like 99 or 2000, and at the time I was super nerd 311 kid. Okay, like I even started a 311 cover band. It was, you know, so, and that was like Jurassic 5 was there, Body Count, Jimmy Eat World. God, I can't remember. I'm sure Rancid was there. They're there every year, but still. Yeah. Or they were there every year for like 12 years in a row. And, you know, I bought a backstage pass off of one of the members of Jurassic 5.
Nice.
And I went backstage and I got to eat barbecue with 311 and drink their beer from a keg and work out with Essay. And it was like, that was a good experience for me. That was one of the experiences where I was like, oh, okay, I like what's happening back here. Maybe I will do this.
Right.
For a living. I would like to hang out back here more often.
Oh yeah, man. It's weird, man. I had that moment, that revelation moment too. Like, just once I landed the gig working for music production in Miami, I was doing stage production for the American Airlines Arena, and we would do like Bank Atlantic Center in Fort Lauderdale and stuff like that. But it was big fucking shows like Aerosmith and Madonna and Rod Stewart and Billy Joel. So being in that world, like behind the scenes of it, really got me excited about pretty much, you know, that lifestyle, you know, just being backstage and meeting certain people and the experience of standing on stage during a show. Like, it's, that's kind of what led to me going into the beer industry to, you know, I've always loved that part of it. I've always loved being on the stage. And I know some people are like, no, I like to be in the crowd. I'm like, nah, I'm 35. I'm full of injuries. I don't want to be in the fucking pit with a bunch of people pushing me and like breathing on my neck and spilling their beer on my face. And I just want to watch the show, you know?
Me either. There's actually a handful of bands where I really do want to be out there. A band called Archers of Loaf. A band, well, Eagles of Death Metal.
For sure, yeah.
That's a concert I want to see from the front. I just saw At the Drive-In a couple weeks ago, and it was as good as it has been every time, and maybe even better this time.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it, because I saw their Coachella performance when they came back. I thought it was a little phoned in. Maybe it was just nerves from being away for so long or something, but...
Yeah. Well, God, they've been doing it now for almost 2 years, reunion, right?
Yeah. They got a new album coming out.
Or 1 year.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Speaking of beer, 311, you were just saying, had the keg of their own beer. They're pretty big craft beer dudes. I know they're doing one in Tampa with Cigar City, either with Cigar City or the Tampa Bay Brew Bus, which is kind of related to them, but they're getting a beer with them. Yeah. I
didn't even know that 311 was into beer. I mean, there was shitty beer they had backstage.
Oh, you were talking about like Budweiser. I think you meant like they made their own beer and they had a keg of it or something.
Oh, no, I don't think so. What would it be called? If the 311 had a beer, what would it be called?
I mean, if they don't call it Amber Ale, they could just kill themselves right now. If they don't make an Amber Ale and call it Amber Ale.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, would you say that's the song that got them to the top? Or would it be more like a little earlier, right before that?
Man. I mean, Down.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Down was the breakout
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything before that was the stuff that I actually still kind of like. I haven't listened to the 311 album in like, I mean, God, 15 years.
Down was definitely their breakout, and then they solidified it with Amber as like, even, I'm not saying that the song is that good, I'm just saying it hit that hard. Like, that was very, very popular. So I still hear it every time I walk into a bar, somebody's playing it. It's one of those songs. It's got the perfect hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, man, I hate to be the, 311's like, some people are like, man, Metallica's first 3 albums were the only albums that matter. And I'm like, 311's first 3 albums were the only albums that matter.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, no.
They were completely different. I mean, and it almost the same amount of difference as the Metallica, the first 3 albums. Once Black Album hit, they definitely were trying to put music on the radio at that point.
Yeah.
Same with 311. That album that had Amber on it was all a bunch of radio songs.
Yeah. What was your first concert?
Ooh, well, this is a 2-parter. It's either my very first concert ever or my first concert on my own, like that I went to because I wanted to go to on my own. So
Interesting.
So the first time I ever went to a concert, I think it was Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, great first concert
in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's either Huey Lewis and the News, or I'm trying to remember. I think it was Steve Miller Band. My father took me to go see a long time ago before he decided to disappear. I'm still in contact with him. It's not that he's disappeared. It's just that
Oh, okay.
he chose a lifestyle that required him to be away. So
Okay, fair enough. Guerrilla warfare, paramilitary guerrilla warfare.
Well, so here's something I've never said before. His father, my grandfather, was in the whole Castro communist, like the group of guys that took over the country.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And then after the revolution succeeded, he partied, got drunk, and crashed his motorcycle into an 18-wheeler. So I never got to meet him. It's not like I have an emotional attachment or anything, but it's just...
Okay.
It's an interesting story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, partied his ass off, and then I guess, shortly after that, he crashed his bike.
That was your grandfather?
That was my dad's dad, yeah, my grandfather.
Okay.
But anyway, no, my dad was, we're derailing. My dad did stuff that prevents him from coming back to this country, so he's kind of stuck outside of the country.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, my dad's just dead, so.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Things happen.
Things happen. So, yeah, he used to take me to a lot of concerts. He was actually one of the first, he introduced me to a lot of the music I grew up on, Led Zeppelin, and he also listened to a lot of bullshit, Bee Gees, and, fucking 70s
Wait
disco.
a second, man. Don't call the Bee Gees bullshit.
No, but you know what I mean, though. It's great music to dance to, but it's dance music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the 70s version of whatever is popular in dance music now, because I don't know.
At least they played their own instruments, man.
Right, and they had amazing voices.
The first time I ever met Barry Gibb's son, Stephen Gibb, he was at NAMM, the trade show, and he was like, he's like all tatted up.
Nice.
And he's like, I'm a Stoner Doom band, and I really want to play Orange Amps. And I was like, wait, your dad's Barry Gibb. And he was like, yeah. The last time I saw that dude, he had put on like a suit so that he could play with his dad at concerts.
And cover his sleeves.
So, I think he's realized that, yeah. Anyways, so Huey Lewis and the News, though, man. I saw them last year.
Yeah, dude. I saw them. They did an a cappella set. It was ridiculous. They did 2 sets, a regular set with full-on horned, section, and then an acapella set. And then my first concert on my own was Green Day. This was before Dookie came out, I think, or right when Dookie came out.
Okay.
And it was just
hit it early.
Yeah, it was just one of those. I was a kid, and I'm like, whatever. Me and my cousin wanted to go, so I'm like, let's go. And we bought tickets and we didn't even tell our family. We just went, and that was pretty interesting. It was the first time I saw something like that, like, people moshing and moving around and beer being thrown around everywhere. I'm like 10 years old. I don't remember how old I was.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, went to Woodstock in 1992, saw like Nine Inch Nails and Chili Peppers and all that in that year. Blind Melon was one of the ones that we caught. But yeah, I don't know. I've been going to concerts since I was a kid, man. I've always loved music. 10, 11 years ago, I discovered I wanted to try and do it. And I still do it. I still play music. I just don't do it actively. I'm not like in a band touring and recording records and shit. I still want to. I still write music here at home with the Pro Tools and all that stuff. But I don't really have the time to dedicate to going on tour right now.
So do you play any instruments, or you do mostly programming, or?
Oh, I do. I play pretty much everything but drums.
Okay.
Bass, guitar, keyboards, and I sing. I've tried doing the drums, and I could play a song here or there, but I wouldn't want to be a drummer. I can't do it. I don't have the stamina. Plus, I'm too fat.
Hey, man, there are some great fat drummers. Okay.
Yeah, there are. Dude,
Yeah.
What's that dude from Suicidal Tendencies? He's a big guy.
Which one?
The drummer?
The main dude?
The drummer.
Or you mean the drummer?
Yeah, he was in that jazz band with Tosin Abasi and.
Oh man, I can't remember that dude's name.
Yeah, it was Tosin. It was Tram is the name of the project, and it's Tosin, Javier Reyes, and then the other two guys, but I forget their names. But I play instruments. I'd like to start a band. I've actually been talking to Adam from Killswitch about doing something.
Yeah,
I've talked to Danny from Intronaut and see if he wants to play drums on something, and he's always like, yeah, man, but he's also in like 20 other projects, so it's a little difficult to, get him down to do something,
Good drummers are few and far between, man.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about beer, since we were starting to do that with 311 and we kind of derailed.
Yeah.
You're a beer geek?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I a beer geek? Yes.
Yes, but like, I'm talking geeky. I'm not saying like you like drinking beer, but like, do you have a cellar? Do you know the differences between hops and stuff like that?
Okay. All right. My beer geek level on a scale of 0 to 10 is a solid 6. I am much more involved in drinking beer than I am. I've made beer. I have a setup.
Okay.
A 3-tiered setup, a homebrew setup. I've made. I've tried my hand at Pliny's.
Cool.
Celebration Ale is one of the ones that we made over and over again to try to perfect it. Sierra Nevada Celebration.
Nice.
We've tried some wits. We've tried some, but I've never really made a dark, like a super dark beer. I've never made a stout. I've never made a porter or anything like that.
Those are fun. I did one of those. I ended up doing a 3 beans Cuban style for a homebrew contest. And it was it was black beans, Cuban coffee, and Guatemalan chocolate or whatever.
That sounds amazing.
And it was fantastic. A lot of people don't think about black beans as part of their mash, but it creates a really nice texture and body to the beer. It's awesome.
Black bean.
Yeah. And it doesn't do a lot. It only gives a little bit of flavor. It's mostly for texture. It's mostly for the body.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, once you cook that, you actually put it into the mash?
Yeah. Do it in the mash. Boil them. You boil them first.
Pretty much boiling any flavor that's there at all out of it by that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, because I don't want to impart too much of that. So you boil them in water and then just put it in the mash, and it's pretty good. It came out good. I gave it a year. I gave a bottle a year and drank it, and it was amazing. So
cool, man.
I'm down to try that again at some point.
Yeah, dude. I haven't done it in a little while. It was something that I did with my dad a lot. It was like a father-son bonding type of thing. And I just have not really put much effort into it within the last year. But before that, we would do it almost once a month.
Well,
you know how it is, man.
Yeah.
I'm not that self-motivated when it comes to that stuff. Plus, I got things like this kid right here sitting next to me.
Oh, boy.
Who won't stop fixing his hair in the Skype window.
Future rock star.
Yeah, seriously. And so, man, I mean, it gets harder to do.
Yeah, no, I hear you. What are some of your favorite styles of beer? Like, are you more into the sour stuff or the stouts?
I am IPA to the core.
Okay.
And then I am sours now.
Yeah.
I don't really like super heavy. I mean, it depends on the mood I'm in, but it's harder for me to get in the mood to drink a really heavy stout than it is to get into the mood to drink a heavy IPA or a really brutal sour. I love Cantillon and just everything. Any hard to get sour that costs way too much money. That's really what I seek out.
Just tastes better. You can really taste the rarity in it.
Yeah, well, honestly, man, I want my sour beers to be like, I want somebody to take a sip of it, and then I want them to look at me like, the hell is wrong with you? That's when I know that my sour beer is as sour as I need it to be.
Just the funkiest, most ridiculous. But you're looking for, okay, so there's old-ass Cantillon bottles, like 2005 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's sour like what Upland does in the Midwest, where it's like, it's just battery acid. Like, it's good, but it melts your teeth off. You know what I mean?
All right, well, you mean with, like, sweetness?
No. Like the tartness is so ridiculous. Like you just pucker up. Like you get the kiwi one. They have a kiwi one that's. I drank some of it and it just tasted like lightning. It was just like, oh god, and my teeth hurt.
Yeah, I find a difference. Tart is a good word because some sours do have a lot of sweetness to them, and the sweet and the sour. That's pretty much tart as far as my mouth perceives it. I don't really like my sour beers to be tart, you could say.
Okay.
I want them to be sour. And there's a fine line there. I know that. But like you said, like when you can feel it dissolving your teeth, no, I'm not down with that.
So you're more into like the vinous ones, like the Duchess, something like that. Some people would call vinegary almost.
Oh God, no! It's so hard to say. No. You know, man, you use the word sweet, now I'm stuck on that word, or tart, now I'm stuck on that word. I do like tart. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want it to be teeth dissolving.
Gotcha.
I actually really hate vinegar tasting beers.
Okay. I'm not a fan of it either. Duchess is like that. A lot of people love it, but to me, Duchess tastes like vinegar, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
I could still do Upland. The one that I told you is teeth shredding. I could still do it. It's more of like it's like a harkening back to when I was a kid and I had to shove like warheads, like sour warheads in my mouth just because it was so extreme. And I'm like, oh, it hurt more than it was good, but
yes,
it was just interesting.
I'm trying to think of some of my favorite sours, man. But I mean, of course, Cantillon. I mean, anybody who doesn't like Cantillon's an asshole.
So let me test your nerdiness. What is your favorite Cantillon beer?
You know what? I actually just had. So sometimes we get them at the Charleston Beer Exchange.
Yep.
Which is a great beer place, and they get a lot of fairly rare things. But I had one that I hadn't had prior, and now I'm going to try to figure it out, man. Because I mean, obviously, I like the goose.
Lou Pepe. There's Saint Lamvinus. The Creek.
I had their Creek recently.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd had their Creek. No. The Rosé de Gambrinus.
Rosé de Gambrinus, right.
That
was a
shit
good one.
Is incredible.
That's a good one. I have one in my cellar from 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14. And then I have a Vigneron. I don't know if I'm saying it right. That one's 2012. And then I've, like, the older the better, man. I've had some old ass, like, Lou Pepe Creek, and it's just unbelievably great. And the problem is, though, somebody ends up opening it right, like, I've just had, like, 27 different beers already. And somebody's like, well, fuck it, you're still going? I'm going to crack this up. I'm like, no! Save it for tomorrow.
Dude, I have had that happen to me more times than I would like.
Yeah, dude.
One of the best beer tastings I ever went to was with Braun from Macedon. And this place in Atlanta called the Brick Store Pub.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a basement, and it is an old bank vault. And they are just hoarding shit down there, man. I mean, they get like, they'll get the only Canadian breakfast stout that comes into Georgia in a keg. And then they'll sit it in the vault for 3 years until they're able to break it out and sell it for 5 times as much as they should be selling it for.
Right, yeah. A lot of people do that. It's a little frustrating for people like me that it's like, hey man, I just want to try the beer.
Yeah.
Why do I need to pay you $400 for 12 ounces of beer?
Yeah.
Like, that's not happening. So
So we were down there one time, and we were probably down there for 4 hours, man, with this dude who's now the rep for the Kansas City brewery, the Boulevard.
Okay.
He used to be the beer guy at this brick store place. And he invited his best friends because he knew Braun was coming, and so he wanted to, make a big howdy do about it. And I would guess that there's probably $10,000 worth of beer drank between like 9 or 10 people. And I mean, yeah, get to the very end of this thing, everyone is wasted. Like, how am I even going to go home wasted? And then some dude breaks out his like rarest Cantillon, Bigfoot. 10-year vertical, and then. By the way, I'm tired of Bigfoot verticals. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm tired of it.
I feel like everyone has one of those.
Everybody has a Bigfoot vertical. Okay, and then he breaks out the coup de grace. I'm just having so many brain farts today, man. I wish I wasn't so hungover. Best beer in the world, the Monks. What's it called?
Oh, West Veteran.
Yep. And breaks out that I'd never had it before, and it was not the way to try it.
Well, let me tell. I'm going to give an unpopular opinion right now.
No, I know what you're going to say.
I don't really care about West Veteran. I don't care. I don't. I've had multiples, and it's okay. It's a good Belgian. It's a good Belgian dark beer. It's not the greatest beer in the world. Get out of my face. I've had the Belgian one too, because a lot of people go, you've only had the American release. No, I've had the Belgian one from Belgium. Somebody brought it to me. So, no, it's okay. It's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's one of those things that, like, if you're in the world of beer, you have to take it off your list. You have to, and like, I've had it. Yeah, it's bucket list stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But the Bigfoot vertical thing, dude, it's hilarious you brought that up. I had someone do that to me at my going away party from Miami when I moved over here to LA. Somebody showed up with like 11 years of Bigfoot. And at first I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. And then we were just drinking. And then like, you know, near the end of the night, the dude's like, oh, fuck, the vertical. I'm like, no. Come on, man. Like... It all tastes the same after the third year.
Yeah.
It's just all fucking sugary, malty, whatever.
Trying to find a difference between those beers is impossible, in my opinion.
There's a difference between like the freshest one and the oldest one. That's
pretty
about
much it.
Yeah. I have a vertical in my cellar right now that it's gone. It's not exciting anymore because it's gone past its point of like, I'm not going to enjoy this. I have like 11 years or something of 120 from Dogfish.
Oh, wait, 120?
Yeah.
You have 11 years of that? We can't even get it in Georgia. We can't.
Pretty much it's an IPA, but it turns into a barley wine after like 2 years or a year and a half.
Does it hold?
Oh, it holds. It's amazing. I prefer it old. I don't like the IPA. I don't like it fresh. I think fresh it's too bitter and kind of a mess, but when you let it smooth out and give it a couple years, it's delicious.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. So I have like 11 years of it, though. I don't know what to do with it. I keep I've brought it to a couple parties already where I'm like, all right, guys, let's do it. And then we get wasted and we don't get to it. And I'm not going to be that asshole. Let's crack it open now.
Yeah. No, don't do it when it's not the right time on that one. So I'm thinking about what's in my beer fridge. And
do you have an actual beer fridge or is it just your fridge? You do? Okay, cool.
I do have an extra fridge for beer. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's gotten a little bit light It's a little light right now. It's kind of sad, actually. But actually, I had a question because maybe you've tried have you tried is it Trequoir 2020? Have you ever seen that beer?
I have not. What is it?
Supposed to age it until 2020. The only beer that I've had longer than 5 years that I'm still aging. Because man, you ever come home and you're like, man, fuck it. I might die tomorrow. I better try one of my favorite beers, like one of my saved beers.
Right.
Every once in a while, that hits me, and that depletes my stock pretty quickly most of the time.
Yeah, it's funny, dude. I don't. Most of the beers that I have stored, it's something that I've already had, and I was lucky enough to get 2 of them or 3 of them, so I just put them there, and I end up taking them to concerts. That's how I get to know all the homies. That's how I'm friends with all these people. It's like, hey, I'll show up to your show. I'll bring you a cooler full of fucking beers. Let's hang out.
A hell of a way to do it, man. I mean, great mind think alike, man, because I regularly, especially when the bands that I know appreciate that, I'm like, all right, boys, get me on that list and let's do this. And then I'll go and find like the best and the coolest new stuff from Atlanta and bring it down to the shows. That's a way to stay friends forever.
Yeah, dude. And that's why I've stayed in the beer industry trying to do sales. Like, I'm kind of over the aspect of sales because I've been doing it for so long now that I'm just kind of over the whole, like, pounding the pavement, door-to-door knocking, I still enjoy it. It's definitely the best job I've ever had. It's just, I feel that I'm about a year or some, I'm getting ready to move on from sales and do something bigger, do something on a deeper scale for a brewery. But that's why I've maintained myself in the beer industry. It's like I need to have beer, and I could go to shows and just have the best time possible while I'm still alive.
Good call. Yeah, that's a great call, dude.
Yeah, that's all I care about. I just want to have a good time. I know our time here is limited, and I know I'm old, and I know I've fucked up my body throughout the years. So I know I got like maybe 30, 40 years to go. I want to make those 30 years awesome.
Yeah.
And the only way I can think of it is like be involved with music because I love music, and whether it's with the artists themselves or doing it myself, I want to be a part of that and be a part of the beer world too because it's fun. Who doesn't like getting free beer?
I think about it all the time, man. I love amps. But I love the music industry more than I love amps. I would probably happily transition into a job where I could do artist relations for like a weed company. I mean, seriously, man, there's plenty of, I'm not talking about actual weed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Although apparently there is a company that has an artist relations guy just for weed, because Steph from Deftones is working on a weed right now.
Right.
Did I tell you that I got a chance to name it?
Yeah.
We were playing golf, and he was like, "Man, I've got a weed strain coming out," and I was like, "Oh, that's badass." And he's like, "What do you think I should call it?" I was like, "Your nickname is Steph D-O-double-G." I was like, Steph D-O-double-O-G. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, man, no, I mean, like, there's so many components to the industry, and it's going to be burgeoning. I mean, it's going to be huge within the next decade, man. And there are plenty of companies that make apparatuses.
Oh, yeah.
Apparati, I'm not sure. Apparatuses, smoking devices, all that kind of shit, man. I mean, they need artist relations people, too, because I don't know if you knew this or not, but a lot of musicians smoke weed.
No.
Fact.
Don't you say that.
So
Don't you say that.
Yeah. So listen, man, maybe we should get into this. What do you?
Let's do it, bro.
You got the West Coast, I got the East Coast. Let's do this. We both love beer. I love this plan.
Yeah, man. I've honestly, I was very interested when you told me what you did when we met in NAMM, and it's like I could totally see myself doing something like that to a certain extent, because I do well meeting people and talking to people. I mean, obviously, you're now we barely know each other, and yet here we are chatting it up like friends. You know what I mean?
Dude. I mean, it's crazy, man. I already know how big your penis is.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the first thing we did. I showed it.
That's how good I am at reading people. No, you didn't. I didn't see it. I just know. That's the deal, man.
You didn't see it pressed up against my jeans? No.
Oh.
Led Zeppelin style, just to fucking check it out, ladies.
Oh, man. That is the best, dude. We've got this poster of them, the one by the plane.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could just see Robert Plant's penis. Like, I could draw it from memory. And, we've had employees come through Orange, and we've got it framed on the wall by our tech's office. And like, we've had new employees come through that haven't necessarily known that much about the industry. Definitely don't know who Led Zeppelin is in some cases. Oh, geez. The accountants. It's always the accountants that have no idea what they're actually doing at the rock and roll company. And
it's so ridiculous.
I had this one girl, and she was like, "Oh my God, is that real?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's totally real." And she's like, "What band is that?" I was like, "That's Led Zeppelin." She's like, "I never heard of them, but if it's like that, maybe I should check it out." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh shit! Oh my God! It's funny that you brought that up. I don't get when I meet people in an industry that have no interest in that industry. You know what I mean? Like in the beer industry, I run into it all the time. Like, I'll say, "Hey, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm a sales rep for this brewery." "Cool. How long have you been doing it?" "This is my first week. I used to be a technician." "Okay, so were you like a big beer geek? And you wanted to jump in the industry?" "Nah, I don't even drink beer. I just do vodka." The fuck are you doing? Like, what are you?
That's hilarious. Well, okay, so I don't admit this very often, but I also don't really give a shit. But I don't even play guitar. I can't play guitar at all. Period. Okay. I like writing music. I taught myself how to play drums. I grew up playing saxophone. So yeah, man. I mean, it's not always a prerequisite. And it really depends on the role you have within that company sometimes, man. I mean,
that is true, but you're still, even though you don't play guitar, you're into music. So you're still kind of linked to the industry. You're right. You know what I mean? It's not like like what I was just saying, or like the girls that that work there, or whoever it is that works there and goes in and doesn't know who Led Zeppelin is. I don't even know people, just regular people not in the music industry, that don't know who Led Zeppelin is. Like, what the fuck? Everybody knows Led Zeppelin. What?
Look, man, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta is a hip-hop town.
That's true.
There's just not a whole lot of Led Zeppelin going on here, man. But
that is true.
Man, look, I'll say this. When you made your example about a guy who drinks vodka trying to sell beer, like that whole thing,
mm-hmm.
Selling it is actually different, too, I think. Man, most of my job, artist relations, is logistics, is helping artists get stuff places a lot of the time, asking for photos and video, just keeping people happy. But if you're selling a product, like actively selling it, I really think you've got to have some sort of background going on there, man.
Well, you definitely need sales background.
If I heard somebody say, "Do you want to buy this beer? I usually drink vodka," I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
Right. Right, and it's one of those things. Like, how can you sell something that you're not familiar with? I feel that you should at least be a little bit familiar with what you're selling. You know, even if it's, okay, I don't like beer, but I've had a lot of it because it's my job. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to know the differences, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I couldn't sell something I wasn't fully behind. Like, I wouldn't be able to go sell
Insurance.
or insurance. Fuck insurance. Jesus Christ. It's such a scam. It's such a scam, dude. I pay thousands of dollars for insurance, and I never use it. It's insane. I should use it. I do a lot to my body. I should be using my insurance.
Might be time to reevaluate your coverage, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you just need catastrophic. You don't need the day-to-day bullshit.
Right. And that is how I describe my sex life. Catastrophic.
Nice. Nice. Well, you could sell sex, I guess.
Right. Nah, no one will pay for this.
You can get behind that, though.
No one will pay for my sex.
Oh, you'd be surprised, bro. You'd be surprised.
Maybe like a politician or something.
That's a good call, actually. There's this guy named Judson Hill running for Congress in my district. I'm pretty sure he probably has paid for sex.
He loves big penis.
Yeah.
You said you saw it, so I'm assuming you said it was big. I just, that's...
Yeah, I mean, again, one thing I have to reiterate, I haven't seen it. I just know from talking to him.
You've seen it in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a really weird trait to have, man, is a weird power, is knowing how big someone's dick is based purely on conversation.
True. So, all right, going back to what you do, I don't know how you handle it so well, but going to hang out with all these dudes can get a little tiring. I mean, not tiring, like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, but just like, hey guys, it's 5 a.m. I don't even know where I'm standing anymore, so gotta go. And you do that often. I do it as, every once in a while when I go to a show and I bring them beer.
Yeah.
We end up hang out backstage for a while until we can't hang out anymore, or they have to hit the road. But that's pretty much your job at this point, is to meet up with these guys and hang out and befriend them. And I don't know how you do it, man.
Well, I do a lot, like the article that I just wrote, man. I do a lot of sound checks. I do a lot of hanging out pre-concert. I leave during concerts all the time, man. The thing is, there's that period after the band's done playing where they retreat to their room and you leave them alone for a while.
Yeah.
And then you take the chance that they, A, liked their own show, and B, don't hate each other now because of the show. And that they're all going to come out of that room in a super good mood and everything. And unless I know, like, techs that I want to hang out with, because I have a lot of techs that I like hanging out with. Those dudes are very well-rounded and grounded people a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. I don't do that, man. I don't do that often. I'm much more, I don't want to call it high level, but I mean, yeah, that's kind of the way that I think about it, is I'm more high level. I mean, I go into the office, 9 to 5-ish. And I sit there and I answer emails all day long, getting people gear places, that whole thing. Man, I'm not out there discovering new bands. I am going to hang out with the people who I know it's going to be a good hang most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, and then I've got a guy named Dan Darby in the UK who's our European artist relations guy. He's younger than me. He, doesn't have kids or any of that shit, and he's able to go out and see more people. I've got on the ground people in a couple places, and they're younger and they're cool with staying out that late.
Right.
I'm not, man. I mean, dude, I didn't even stay out late last night. I was in bed by like midnight, and I woke up this morning and I felt like I was going to have a heart attack or something. Like, that's how shitty my body feels. And so I can't possibly stay out until 5 a.m.
Yeah. No, I was surprised, man. I mean, I know we hung out at NAMM, and I don't even recall, like, making the decision to be like, all right, well, I'm done. I can't do anything else. Fucking Crooks was passed out next to me already. And Wes wanted to keep partying, and I'm like, I think
dude,
I gotta go,
Wes
guys.
from Name?
Yes.
How the hell does that dude do it?
I don't know, man. He's a rager, I'll tell you.
He's a monster. That night was weird for me, too, because of Brett Hines getting escorted off the property of the hotel we were in.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, man, if we had just managed the situation the way I normally work with Brent, everything would have been fine. He never would have knocked that glass out of that dude's hand onto the ground and then gotten escorted off the property by police.
Fantastic. I didn't know the full details. I just knew he got was getting
Details are
escorted
pretty straightforward. I hung out with Brent 2 nights at NAMM. We got kicked out of 3 Ubers total over the course of 2 nights.
Sounds about right.
Luckily, he only almost got arrested once. I love Brent Hines. He's one of my favorite people in the world. He's the kind of guy that once you crack his shell, you're in, man. I mean, you're friends forever. And I'm proud of that because that dude has obviously a notorious history. But dude, I love him, man. I really do. And some of the craziest people, man, some of the people, the flat earthers, the people that believe in mermaids, like, I mean, these are all real life examples, by the way. These are actual things that artists I work with believe.
Well, I know about the flat earthers, but I didn't know people actually believed in mermaids.
Oh, they sure do, man.
Oh, Jesus
Little
Christ.
mermaids swimming around the sea, bro.
Ugh.
Yeah, they sing songs, they grow feet, they kiss handsome princes. It's crazy, man. It's a weird world. But these are the people that I tend to get along with the best, man. And, you know, the way I describe it is this. A lot of bands have the one dude or the one girl that if the band didn't have that person, that band probably wouldn't be as groundbreaking as they are. That one person is adding something to the mix that is so different and off the wall that what would normally be just a straightforward rock band becomes a progressive metal crazy band. And oh, by the way, I'm not describing Mastodon. I feel like you might think I am. No, all 4 of those dudes are ridiculous. But
Yeah.
you get the idea, man. Those are the people that for some reason I mesh really well with. And I think that's where like the people skills come out the most. Being able to get in deep with the crazies and the offbeat people, man. That's where the skill comes in.
Well, I think that's why you and I got along, man, because I'm the same way. I just don't I need the crazies because the normal people, there's a lot more of them and they're a lot more boring.
Yeah.
And I just don't, I'm just like, oh, God, are you still talking?
Yeah.
What? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Jesus.
The dude, when I show up to a concert, the dude who's like, hey, what do you think about the new, I don't know, Meatloaf album? That's a bad example. Let me think. Let me try that again. You know, what do you think about the new U2?
Oh,
Again,
Jesus.
terrible example, but I mean, you get the idea. Like, just
I get the
kind
idea.
of straightforward people that are.
You haven't heard the new Nickelback song, dude? They
Oh,
got
okay, that might be an even better example.
They got gent riffs now,
Yeah,
bro.
and talk to me about pedals. Okay, so what's the orange pedal? And then that conversation goes into a conversation about the new Dunlop something, and I'm just like, oh my God, are we gonna do shots or not? And then so then you've got people like Brent, and if you show up and try to talk to him about pedals, you can pretty much just go eat. You can pretty much go eat an ass. Like, that's not going to be the conversation you have. You're gonna have a conversation about the totem pole that he is currently whittling. No shit. That's like just made out of dicks. Like that's an awesome conversation. I want to talk about dick totem poles.
The 2 times I've hung out with Brent, the conversation started with, you want a drink? That's it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great beginning to a conversation.
Yeah. First time was like years and years ago when Leviathan first came out. They played a small club in Florida, and I just saw them. I had me and my buddy had a bottle of Crown. We're like, whiskey? I'm like, yep. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Turned down a bottle of Crown.
That's it. We sat there and drank that whole fucking bottle, and then the second time was at NAMM when we hung out at NAMM. He's walking by. I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And I just handed him my flask. And he's like, "Oh, drink." Passes me a weed pen. I'm like, "Okay, cool. I guess fuck it."
So one of my favorite Brent stories is that I had him do this video for us, and it was one of those days where it was pulling teeth with Brent.
And was it that ridiculous video with Juan Montoya as well?
It was the one with Juan.
Okay.
The one where they just drive around handing off this amp to people.
Yeah.
It's not a good video by any stretch of the imagination, dude. I mean, it's actually one of the worst we've made, and we did it with like a 1-camera shoot in like 4 hours. But, meeting Brent and finding him, like I had to go find him. Like, where's Brent at? All right, he promised he would be here. So we go find Brent. And, here's the deal, man. I got 12 PBRs. I got 2 joints, and I got some Adderall. and that's the kit, man. That's the kit you use for some of these dudes. It's like a jump start.
For sure, yeah. That's what gets them started. Yeah.
So we get into the office. Okay, it's Monday. Everyone is in the office because we shot some of the video in the office. We get there. We're in the office. There are people working. Brent just all of a sudden kind of like phases out, and then he looks around, and then he looks at Juan, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Is today Saturday?" And I was like, "No, man, it's Monday." I was like, "That's why all the people are in here working." Like it was awesome, dude.
Well, you know, he's on a different level, man, and I don't hate him for it. I think it's awesome. I wish I was at that level where, like, zero fucks whatsoever. I don't give a fuck about anything. I don't care what day it is. I don't. Yeah. Who are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he gives a fuck about his close friends, and he gives a fuck about his music, and that is about it, man. And everything else is just like.
And his wood.
Yeah. It's like, good luck everything else, because I'm Brent and deal with this. Like, and it's a beautiful thing that I admire with every ounce of my heart, is being able to be just that free. Plus, dude, the dude's smart as hell, man. I mean, he's crazy smart.
Yeah, it's super smart. He's super smart. It's admirable to be at that point in your life. But I can see how some people, you know, perceive it as a negative thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people do. Like you said, he's got a notorious reputation, unless you know him personally. And like I said, every time I've met him, he's been nothing but great. Just hang out and talk, smoke and drink, and just chill. Yeah. But a lot of people have confrontations with him, and it's not positive confrontations. And it's, you know, it's just people aren't ready for his genius, man.
No, and you know what, dude? Here's the thing. I want my rock stars to be that way. I really do.
Sure.
Secretly, deep down inside of me, it creates a nightmare for me with a lot of them until I break that barrier. But at the same time, man, I want to watch Brent be crazy. I want to watch Jesse Hughes from Eagles of Death Metal. I want to watch him just say crazy shit, do crazy shit, just be insane. By the way, Jesse, literally one of the smartest people I've ever met. Literally. Right. I mean, that dude is like probably a certified genius. And rock and roll for him, man, is just his outlet for everything else. I don't know. He might be too smart. But I want my dudes to be slightly self-destructive, and I want the fucking 70s rock stars, man.
Hell yeah. And
what happened to being self-destructive, being assholes, breaking shit? Like, give me that.
Well, here's where the problem lies. That I want that, but people like Brent earned that. You know what I mean? He's worked his ass off. He's toured for many, many years and done a lot of amazing records and amazing things to get to that point. A lot of these young fucking people that are in their shitty bands come out there acting like rock stars, and they don't fucking deserve that. They don't deserve that status. They don't deserve that life. You know what I mean?
No, you know, it's funny, man. I mean, you know, Brent, let me put it this way. I know for a fact that Brent has been the way Brent is since he was young. Okay, for sure. You do have to put them through like a trial by fire, though, man. If you've got a band coming out, they're 18, 17 years old, and they're huge assholes, and, you know, you gotta give them shit for that. You gotta put them through the trial by fire. Now, Brent was, I'm sure, put through that trial. I'm sure he was called a poser. I'm sure he was told that he was just faking it and all that shit, man. But then, eventually, you do come through to a point where it's like, you get respected for being insane.
Right.
You know, you got to put in your dues, man. You know, but the crazy ones, they've always been crazy, man.
Yeah. Like, I feel that, like, you know, Brent, in my book, he's awesome. Like, that, he deserves that. But there's young bands that I've met that come off super dickish and, like, and not even in his, like, the way he would do it. Just kind of like, oh, I'm the shit, and, you know, check out my awesome band, and I go, I don't have time to talk to you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Your music sucks. You're like, who are you? Like,
oh, don't get offended, man. Don't get offended. I get this all the time, dude.
Well, I was going to say, you probably deal with that shit with a bunch of younger bands that
are
already sponsored.
I have tech crew, tour managers, you know, label people. Those people are the ones that help me get the gear on stage with those guys and get things done without really having to interact with them. Because, yeah, there's plenty of those dudes that won't even give me the time of the day when they're playing my gear.
Right.
And I have to just eat. I just have to eat that one, you know. I got to eat shit and just grin and bear it. Because it's still worth it to have it on stage with some of those people.
For sure. Well, I wanted to ask you about that because as I wanted to, from a musician's perspective, like, what is it that I've never had a sponsorship from Orange. I've never actually had any instrumental sponsorships. I've had sponsorships from Audible now, and I'm about to get one from Blue Apron.
I love Blue Apron, by the way.
I'm stoked, man. They're going to send me free food. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I've used that service several times, and I endorse it.
Awesome. Here's our mid podcast ad.
Yeah, Blue Apron. For when you're lazy as shit and don't really want to try it. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, for when you don't want to leave your house and interact with human beings.
Actually, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's like I fucking hate going to the supermarket. And when I go, I try. It's like I have a list, and I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, done. Let's get out of here. And my girl's like roaming around looking at teddy bears. I'm like, let's go.
They're smart. Because I don't know if you've ever read any of the research. I don't know why the hell I've read this research, but let me just lay this out for you. Have you ever read the research related to how millennials actually make dinner? They go and they buy the ingredients for that dinner, and then they make that dinner. They don't go and shop and buy for the week or 2 weeks, make something, eat leftovers. So much of it is just going, picking out these specific ingredients for that one meal, and then making that meal. Which is why places like Whole Foods and places with high-end ingredients have really started to blossom. So Blue Apron's smart. We put it that way.
Yeah.
A lot of millennials are cooking that way. Also, found out the other day, I'm technically a millennial. So that sucks.
How do you fall into the millennial category?
Are you 35 or younger right now?
I'm 35.
Congratulations. You're a millennial.
Fucking.
It hurts, doesn't it?
Give me a minute while I go kill myself. I'm going to go kill myself.
Yeah.
All right, so wait, I kind of derailed again.
Right.
We were talking about, so sponsorships. Okay, so what are there multiple, I'm assuming there's multiple tiers. No, just one sponsorship. Do you give them equipment to use? Do they get a discount on your equipment? How does that work out for a musician?
I shouldn't say there's not tiers. There actually kind of is tiers. I used to have multiple tiers. Such a waste of time, in my opinion. There are artists who I will sell gear to at a discounted price, and then I'll never hear from them again. Sometimes with those guys, I say, hit me up in 6 months. Let me know what's happened in 6 months. I'll still sell you gear right now, but I'm not ready to extend this. Then there's everybody else. Now, the everybody else thing, that's when you get special pricing, you get loaner gear support, you get priority technical support, you get cross promotions and content sharing opportunities. And then there are people who get free gear. Mm-hmm. Plus the other stuff I just listed. It's definitely, I've changed the requirements for a lot of this stuff, but so many of the people that I endorse these days, they come from suggestions from people that I've already been working with for a long time. So, it's easier for me to make friends with the guy that runs Relapse Records or, one of those management companies. Mm-hmm. And then, any band that they sign, in a lot of cases, that's going to be a band that's worth me working with. But if you are just an artist, and you come to me, you use the form on our website, fill out the ambassador paperwork. We call them ambassadors because we're British. If you fill out that paperwork, I'm pretty much going to look at your social media right away, and that's going to be a big indicator. If you have huge numbers, 1 million plus people, probably gonna mess with you.
Right.
If you don't have huge numbers, but you get great engagement on your social media posts, that's that can make up for a lack of numbers. Past that, man, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at your touring schedule. I'm going to find out right now. I'm really looking at mainly people that are internationally touring, at least leaving the country every once in a while. That's just a big, that draws a line in the sand, man. If you're not touring outside of your own country, then I don't necessarily have much room for you on my roster. I might put you in touch with your local distributor, and they might help you within that country, with good pricing or with loaner support, that kind of stuff. But I'm really looking for people that are touring internationally now. And then the final thing I do is listen to music. I got to be as objective as possible. There's so many tastes in this world, man, and I'm not one to, my tastes are weird as hell, dude. I'm really weird. I like Yanni live at the Acropolis. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that proudly. Okay, it's one of my favorite. I own 2 copies on DVD. I own the CD. I own the tape. and a VHS.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know what?
I mean,
fuck you, okay?
No, listen.
Because the musicianship on that is amazing.
No, I've seen it and I like it, but I don't own multiple copies, nor have I seen it more than once.
I used to have a T-shirt. I used to have an unironic Yanni T-shirt. I'm not kidding. So, listen, man, but I mean, that, you know, it's from that to Cannibal Corpse to, you know, Radiohead to Superchunk and Archers of Loaf, my favorite band of all time, like, you know, noise pop, like everything, man. But I can't judge bands based on that. And that's what that recent article that I wrote is about, man. You know, it's not about me liking your music. I'd be shitty at my job if that's the only thing I based it on. Or, you know, I'd be like one of these companies that, you know, there's a lot of pedal companies and a lot of pickup, you know, guitar pickup companies, and they're like, no, man, we're this genre, you know, no, we're stoner doom, we're metal guys, that kind of shit. Like Schecter is a great example. Schecter may have done that to themselves, though. I think Schecter probably accidentally pigeonholed themselves by making guitars that look like Schecter guitars, you know.
Right.
But yeah, music, my taste, that's the last factor. And it has made the determination before. We do a lot of like Monday, you know, after the weekend. I haven't answered a lot of my emails over the weekend. I'll put on bands that have asked for endorsements over the weekend, and they'll let the whole office chime in on it. That's more of just an exercise in futility, but it's kind of fun because most of the people in my office are even bigger haters than I am.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, you know, man, you get the idea.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Going back to beer, what's your favorite brewery? Or how about this? Because I know that's difficult. Give me a top three.
The top 3 beers of all time.
Not beers, breweries.
Top 3 breweries.
Breweries, and then we'll do beers.
Okay. Top 3 breweries. God, I should have prepared for that question. Let's see. Coors. I'm just kidding.
Coors, Bud Light, Miller.
You know, man, I'm going to have to go with a hometown favorite because I grew up drinking their beers, but Sweetwater.
Okay. Shout out to JR out in Atlanta. He's their representative.
Yeah. I may have met JR. My buddy over that works over there, his name is Eric Wiggins, and he is a one of the sales dudes over there.
Cool.
Second would be, man, I don't want to sound lame, you know? I don't want to be like, oh, well, the obvious ones. But,
just be yourself.
You know, these are beers that have probably impacted my tastes and set me up for what I consider pretty decent taste I have now. But I really like Lagunitas, man. Still.
Okay.
To this day. And then I would say that the last one is probably Creature Comforts.
Oh, dude, yeah. Those guys are making great beer. I'm bummed I don't get to drink it as often as I'd like.
Tropicalia.
Oh, Tropicalia, their Athens, what is it, the Athena?
Athena.
The pink one, though, the red one, the berry one, I forget what it's called.
That's the Athena, isn't it?
Don't they have, isn't it, there's 2 versions of the Athena. Paradiso. Athena Paradiso is the red one. It's like berries or something.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah, I mean, I know the dude that started that place, man. I mean, he used to make beer at this place called Twain's in Atlanta, and one of the first times he made Tropicalia, I just happened to be there, and he was making it on site at the bar, and I tasted it, and I was like, you're going to be famous. I knew right away, man. I was like, that is one of the greatest beers I've ever had. It's one of the best IPAs for sure.
Yeah.
So let's do top beers, though.
Yeah, top beers.
The 2 of them are going to be in line with the answers I already gave you. Hop Stupid. Still one of my favorite beers of all time.
Holy shit. Dude, Skype just lagged. Hold on, Skype just lagged. And it sounded so crazy, though, because you said, of all time. It was very epic.
Keep that.
Yeah, I'm keeping that. It was super epic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, Hop Stupid.
Okay.
I still love Hop Stupid, man. And just because of how cheap it was, and the fact you got a bomber of it, and it was a decent beer.
I'm good with it as long as it's fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
In Miami, they'll sell you like 3-month-old shitty Hop Stupid.
St. Bernardus, man. I love me a St. Bernardus, dude.
The 12, the 12. ABT, I forget what they call it, but yeah. Well, yeah, that shit's a great beer.
Yeah, I think so, man. And then,
but like, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but like that beer right there, I don't really taste much of a difference between that one and Westfrederen.
No, and I was going to mention that earlier. One of them is A, way cheaper, and B, way more accessible. And I really don't notice any difference.
Right. Maybe our palates are just not.
Yeah, and for my money, if you can buy what a lot of people consider to be the best beer in the world, but you can buy it all the time and for way cheaper, that's going to be one of my favorite beers. and then the third one it would have to be Tropicalia. What's your favorite shitty beer? Let me ask you that.
Oh, I've mentioned this before. Pacifico.
That's a very smart choice, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, Pacifico.
Yeah.
It's it's relevant politically. No, I'm kidding. I just that's my favorite shitty beer. My dad's in Mexico. When last time I went to see him, he introduced me to that beer, and I was like, holy shit. And then I found it out here, and it was super cheap, and it's a light lager, and it's good, man. It gets the job done. It's not like I'm going out and buying it every day, but if that's what it comes down to, if I go to a supermarket, that's all they got, then yeah, I'm picking that over Bud or Coors or Miller or any of that nonsense. How about you? Is it PBR?
I live in Georgia in the South, and I grew up going to NASCAR, so mine's gonna be Coors Light.
Coors. I'll tell you what, man. There's nothing like drinking a Coors Banquet in Denver. It's a different beer.
You really think so?
Oh man, yeah. Well, you got Denver water, man. Like, we're not getting Denver water in our Coors in Georgia.
No, you're probably right. I mean, I think they actually make it in Georgia.
Yeah. So when you have a Coors Banquet in Denver, it tastes different. And water is such
You gotta get there and try that, man.
Hell yeah. Go to GABF like during that time of the year. It's so much fun.
Okay.
There's always shows. I mean, I saw I Hate God and Chemists out there during GABF one of the years I went. It was a fun time. But so there's always like a metal show because True Brewing's out there, and I don't know if you know Zach from Chemists is the head brewer there, and it's a metal brewery. So they always have concerts during that time of the year to just kind of promote and everything, cross promote.
Okay.
I would peg you for PBR guy though.
Oh, I mean, I've done stuff with PBR. Like we made those tap handles, and I love those dudes.
That sounded sexual.
I know. I mean, I've fooled around with PBR. I've fooled around with the dudes at PBR, but never anything super serious. But no, we did make those tap handles that look like orange stacks. Those things were pretty badass.
That's awesome.
And I know, the guy that does all the marketing over there, his name's Woody, and he used to be the rep for Atlanta, and he moved out there to take over music marketing for PBR. And, it's just whatever kind of beer, and it actually gives me a hangover.
It does. It gives you a very bad hangover.
Yeah.
A pounding headache, vomit taste in your throat. That's the only reason I don't drink it. And it's not that it's a bad beer. I mean, I'm sure it's not up to craft beer standards, but
no, it's not.
But
don't be shy about that. It's pretty much the most run of the mill shit of all time. Yeah,
right. And I've heard stories from people that worked at Budweiser, like PBR and like Busch Light and a couple others. They're made off of the runnings off of Bud Light, like in Budweiser, like the shit that just they're gonna throw away. They make that beer with that. That's why it gives you headaches, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I've gotten to the point where I'm old enough and I've had enough to drink, and I'm usually pretty drunk and or stoned most of the time. So at a show, it's obviously not 9 to 5 during work hours, but afterwards when I'm hanging out, if everybody's out drinking and there's only PBR, I'm not drinking. That's fine.
Nice.
I'm not drinking. I'll
just
go,
refusing to drink.
Nope. I'll go get, like, if they have liquor, cool. If they don't, I guess I'm not drinking right now. I'll probably need a little break from drinking regardless. If we've landed in a place where the only option is PBR, that probably means I'm already wasted and should probably stop drinking.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Just get some MD 2020, man.
Oh, God, I've had those in Florida. And Cisco's. Those fucking things are the same. MD 2020 and Cisco is the same.
Let me ask you this. Is MD 2020, is that not just Mad Dog?
Mad Dog 2020. Yep.
Right, but now they make like 14 flavors of it?
Yeah.
I'm looking at these flavors. There's this one that looks like it says Dragon Fatigue.
Dragon Fatigue is what I feel after I drink that.
Yeah, like... Okay, I'm sure it says fruit. Shit, okay.
Yeah, it's probably dragon fruit. I don't think they're that creative with their names. It's not like, Orange Escape or, whatever the fuck.
No. Banana red.
Oh, it's not even banana strawberry. It's banana and the color red.
Oh, the color red fruit. So just fill in the blanks. Use your imagination.
Yeah, or it's just they're just being literal. Red, whatever, number 9. What is it they call the chemical that they put in shit? There's like yellow number 9,
blue number 2, and that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all it is.
Here's my favorite. Peaches and cream. Can you imagine drinking a whole bottle of peaches and cream Mad Dog?
I think I just threw up in my mouth. No, thank you. I don't want to. Look, you're talking about that. I got this bottle of True Brewing in front of me that Zach gave me when I saw Chemist and Oathbreaker out here recently. And it has peaches. It's a mixed culture ale aged on peaches, cherries, and apricots.
Let me see that bottle.
Yeah, Restarter it's called, from True Brewing.
Oh, shit. I would drink that.
They got some amazing art from this dude, Sam Turner. He does all their artwork for the band and the brewery. Like, there's another one. Looks really cool.
I think I have that. What was that?
This is EP10. It is a golden mixed culture ale aged on grape pomace. I don't know if I'm saying pumice right. Pomace. I'm guessing that's just grape skin.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's any cool beers that are in my... So, like, on the Orange Instagram, I post a lot of beers.
I've noticed. I was looking through it. I'm like, oh, nice.
Not as many as I probably should. Actually, probably more than I should.
Yeah, I've considered opening up a separate Instagram just for beer, but at this point, to start another social media account I just don't have the patience.
It's a good call.
I'm trying to handle the podcast one now, and it's just annoying.
Well, Paste Magazine has actually been doing a lot of beer coverage lately.
Nice.
And they did like 500 stouts ranked.
Oh, Jesus.
And they gave me 4 or 5 of them. The Breakside Brewery was really good. It's this thing called the Oligarch. It's pretty standard. I mean, imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels.
Word.
I like it because it has a picture of a chair and a footstool on it.
Well, sometimes basics are better, man. Like bourbon barrel stout. That's all I need. I don't need it to have vanilla and cocoa nibs and cayenne pepper and fucking, your mom's pubic hairs. Like, I'm good. Just a fucking bourbon barrel aged stout.
You don't discount my mom's pubic hair, bro. It's pretty good pubic hair.
I'm sure it adds a nice a hint of salt.
Let's see. One of the better beers that I've had lately, the Rodenbach, the Character Rouge.
Oh, that's a great beer.
I had bought a 2013 bottle. That was very good.
That goes under the radar too, man. It just sits on shelves. Like, you go to Total Wine, it's there, and people freak out and do lines for other beers, and it's like, guys, this one's it's pretty great, and it's just widely available.
I feel like so many of us that really like beers like that, that might have been a beer that we started our appreciation for with. And then we've gone on to these other beers, these crazy beers, and we look at that kind of beer like, oh, that's just a standard beer. They make a lot of that kind of thing. But it's actually delicious, man.
No, it's great, man. I would drink one right now if I had it.
Oh, and then the El Segundo barrel-aged small batch standard crude. That was a very good imperial stout. It is.
I've had it. I had it on draft actually a few days ago. I end up going there 3 or 4 times a week because my fiance works at Activision right down the street. So she usually she's supposed to get out at 6, but sometimes it takes her a bit. She's finishing up or she's in the middle of a project. So I'll end up just hanging out at the brewery for 30 minutes, 45 minutes every day and just have a couple beers. It's awesome. I'm also kind of secretly hoping that Steve Austin shows up one day.
Nice.
You know that he has a beer there, right?
No, I had no idea. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that he got El Segundo on the map, but kind of. He went in there and made an IPA with them, and that's most of their branding is that you walk in, you see Stone Cold immediately, just like a picture of him standing there, and then on their tanks they have the logo of his beer. It's a Broken Skull Ranch beer or whatever, Broken Skull IPA. So I'm secretly hoping every day I sit there, I'm like, one day, bro, one day, Stone Cold will walk.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. So random, man. I was never into wrestling, dude. I don't.
Oh, no?
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. There's a couple guys that work at Orange that are as hardcore as it gets.
I was on a wrestling podcast recently.
Wow. See, I wouldn't know what the hell to say.
Yeah, I grew up on it, and then I gave up for a few. After Stone Cold quit, I quit. I stopped watching, and then recently, in the last year or two, I've been back into it again.
So I want to mention 2 other breweries, man, that I forgot about. There's so many. I just can't even think of them all. Wicked Weed.
Fuck yeah.
Out of Asheville is amazing.
I'd like to, if any of my friends that live in Asheville are listening to me right now, because I do have a big crew out there, you're all a bunch of douches. I've been asking them to fucking send me some Wicked Weed. None of them want to do it. It's like, God, I love their beers, and I can't get...
Oh, maybe we could work that out. We do get it here in Atlanta.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And their sours are delicious, man.
Yeah, I prefer their sours. I've had their other stuff. I had like their cookies and cream stout, and it's good, but I'm more of a fan of their sour stuff, like their Dark Angel or Black Angel, I think it's called, or something like that. Which one did you have?
Which, with the Wicked Weeds?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've had almost all of them, but there's this one with plums that I had recently that was super good. I can't figure out where they are on my phone. And Westbrook. I wanted to mention Westbrook also. They do the Mexican cake, and they do
Hell yeah.
Justin Blabber. It's one of my favorite beers. I don't know if you've ever seen the cover of that, but it's so random, dude. It's like a Danish version of Justin B. Just so weird, man. But the Mexican cake, man, that's one of my favorite beers. When they were still trying it, my buddy, who's really good friends with them, when they were still creating that beer, they made one that was aged in bourbon barrels over like just straight peppers. And I got a growler of it. I drank 2 or 3 sips, and then I was like, nope, there's no way I'm going to drink this. It was that spicy. And luckily they managed to kind of cool it down a little bit for the actual production run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, you could taste the peppers, but it's not too super spicy or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, man, Wicked Weed. Milk and Cookies. That's a great one. Milk and Cookies.
That's the one I had, yeah.
Yeah, Imperial Milk Stout with golden raisins, cinnamon, and vanilla.
Yeah, that's a really tasty one. But I like their sours more, I think.
Me too.
I would get more stouts from Westbrook and then sours from Wicked Weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had the Mexican cake. I went out to Westbrook with Cigar when I was working with Cigar City. They did this. There's this festival out in South Carolina called Brewvival.
Yeah.
And they sent me out there for that, and I got to go to hang out at Westbrook and got the whole like brewer red carpet treatment. You know, like, come on back, check out the barrels, try this, try that, and like I got to try the Pappy Van Winkle barrel aged.
Yeah.
That shit's like $500 a bottle or something, some ridiculous like amount of money. And they're just letting. First of all, they were like, if you want to buy a bottle, which you're not allowed to, buy one to go. But, you know, brewer fucking perks and shit.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't buy it because I didn't have the money. Are you kidding? I'm not. There's no beer in the world. I don't care how delicious it is. I'm not paying $500 for a bottle. It's just not happening.
Not even the one with the squirrel?
Nope. I don't care. Don't care. And I know I know those dudes at BrewDog. They're you know, they came down to Miami, and I was actually in the Miami episode of BrewDogs. Yeah. And I was the only person that didn't say something positive.
That's hilarious.
Like they had every episode they let the people try it, and then there's always like a girl like, oh my god, it's the best beer I've ever had. Oh, it's amazing. And the guy comes to me, I'm like, I wouldn't have chosen this style to represent Miami.
Yeah, man. I mean, the one with the squirrel or whatever, that's like supposed to be the strongest beer, right?
It's not even beer, man. It's a liquor. At this point, you know, it's kind of like the Sam Adams does that Utopia's beer. It's not beer; it's cognac.
That one I've had twice, and no, that is definitely not beer.
No, it's a cognac. It's it's nice. I'll take a sip.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm not paying $300 for that bottle either, even though it's a nice like copper looking bottle or whatever it is.
What's the place in Oklahoma? Prairie.
Oh, they make great
They're
stouts.
making great shit, man. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Their Pirate Bomb is my favorite. It's a rum barrel version of their bomb.
Yeah, I've had that.
Delicious. That's so good. I still have one of them left somewhere in my cellar. I got to drink that soon. I got to start drinking my beers, man. They're going to go bad.
Well, look, man, I'll be out there soon. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, let me know, dude. Come whenever you're in LA. We'll meet up. We'll drink. I'll pop a bunch of bottles open. I'm actually hoping to meet up with Braun, and hopefully we get to, he told me he was going to hit me up so we can meet up and take him to some of the breweries in the area. I'll bring a bunch of bottles out, but whenever you're in town, let me know.
Roger that, man.
When is your next trip?
To LA?
Yeah.
Nam, probably. I mean, things can come up in a spur of a moment, you know?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get out there to hang out with Lur again from Primus because I just sent him a new amp and I want to try to get video and photo of him with it.
If you do that, just give somebody a call, like myself.
Okay.
I'd love to meet somebody from Primus.
Do you like Primus?
I fucking love Primus, dude. I saw them last time I saw them. They did the Willy Wonka thing, and it was I was out of my mind, like stoned. Just oh my god, they're giant fucking Oompa Loompas on stage. But
I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it.
It was good. It was just trippy and like not for everyone for sure. But
yeah,
I was more into, obviously they did 2 sets, and I was more into the first set with their songs. Jerry was a race car driver and all that stuff. Which
I missed the first set. So then I got there and I was like, oh my God, please tell me I got here for the right set. And then they started and I was like, I'm not on the right drugs. I'm just not on the right drugs, man.
That's what it is. You need the right drugs for that trip, for sure. It's an adventure. But cool, man. Yeah, next time you're out here, let me know. Next time I'm out there, I have my buddy Nick lives out there. He works for Atlanta Backline. I think he knows you, actually, Nick Scrivens.
Oh, yeah, I know that dude.
He and I grew up, in Miami. Not grew up. I guess grew up. Fuck it. Why not? I mean, we were together for like 8 years in the same circle. He would help out my band a lot, help us with setting up shows and like physically setting up shows, not like booking them, but just kind of come out, do all that stuff for us. I actually introduced him into that world of stage productions. I was working in like I told you, in IMC, and I'm like, they needed more hands. I'm like, I'd rather get my friends involved than a bunch of crackheads that they pick up on the side of the street.
Union. You mean union guys?
Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, no, it was rough, man.
I'm not saying all union guys are crackheads, of course.
No.
Solidly 94%.
Pretty much.
I can talk shit about them. I don't deal with that side of the industry. So.
Right. But yeah, I'll probably be in Atlanta sooner than later too. I was out there for Wrecking Ball. That was the last time I went there.
Were you here last year for Wrecking Ball?
It was the year that had Glassjaw and Coheed and
2 years
Grice.
ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Cave In, Mutoid Man.
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
They keep getting better and better with that fest, man. They've done a good job.
Yeah, I had a blast. So I'll definitely be back, even though your brewery laws are super weird and I don't like them.
Well, look, at least it's not like Pennsylvania, man. I guess brewery laws aren't a thing. No, actually, we're working on changing that, by the way.
I hope so.
There's a brewery here called Burnt Hickory.
Okay.
And they are the stoner doom metal brewery in this area. And they just made a beer with one of the bands I work with called Order of the Owl. In fact, so look, man, I've been trying for years to get somebody who I like to make a good Orange Amps beer.
Okay.
I wanted it to be pretty goddamn obvious. I wanted it to be a chocolate stout with orange.
Okay.
Right? Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So Order of the Owl ends up making this beer. It's delicious, man. I was talking to that dude, though, the guy that owns Burnt Hickory, and, we're working on changing the law related to being able to, like, purchase on-site.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think that's the thing.
That was the biggest problem I found, is just not being able to buy a beer. It's what the
and
fuck
I think we're about to change that. So that's the good news.
Yeah, when I was there, they had just changed the tasting room laws, which was good. It allowed the people from Terrapin to open up a tasting room, because I remember they didn't have one.
Right.
And I had a bunch of friends that worked there, so we were there right when that law was changing, and they had just started opening up the tasting room. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But it's just so ridiculous, man. It's 2017. How can I not buy a beer at your fucking brewery?
Oh, man.
It's so archaic.
Dumb. That's the same reason I can't buy a joint, bro. Same reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody's paying more money to make us not be able to do that than I'm able to.
I guess I'm spoiled because I live in California and I don't think about that anymore.
Yeah, you sure are, man. You sure are.
Well, cool, dude. I guess let's wrap it up. Do you want to plug something? Do you work for a company or something that you want to plug?
I've been known to work for a company. Yeah, Orange Amps, the legendary British guitar amplifier.
Hell yeah.
We make amps. We make amps for the working man because that's who we are, and that's who we care about. That may or may not have been a Tommy Boy quote, but it probably was.
It probably is.
Yeah, so, orangeamps.com. If you want Orange Amps and beer, Instagram. That's our Instagram. Instagram.
Okay.
At Orange Amplifiers. And then if you want to read more things that I've written, orangeamps.com blog. It's not that exciting. I'm a pretty unexciting person for the most part.
I don't know, man. That article that you just released is pretty awesome. It's like, give me your free beer.
Well, there's another one like that. I've got an article about how to get an endorsement, and then I've got an article about how to take advantage of your endorsement.
Right. The one I read was about taking advantage of it, which is cool.
Yeah. The other one's much longer, and really the only thing that I want you to make sure, whatever you do, don't put baffles in front of you, or scrims. No scrims. You know what scrims are?
Is that the little, like, mesh?
It's like the mesh shit that people put in front of their gear so that people in the audience know who they are, because the band's not big enough for people to know who they are without seeing it on a scrim. And it covers up my shit, and I hate you for it.
Yeah.
Whoever does that, I will not endorse you. I hate you forever.
I can imagine. I mean, like, why would you cover up your endorsee or your endorser? It's just, check out my sweet logo, man.
Well, what's worse about, it's one thing if you don't have endorsements and you need people in the audience, you're playing a 7-band showcase. And, there's a chance that nobody's going to know who you are. You don't have a huge backdrop or anything. Scrims. Okay, great.
Right.
But once you have those endorsements, man, you better put that shit on stage.
For sure. It's just cover up the kick drum. Put your logo on the kick drum. That one works.
Yeah, thank you, man. Whatever happened to kick drum logos? I'm tired of this.
Right.
Bullshit.
Oh man, I remember my band. One of my buddies owns a print shop, and we printed out this giant fucking 6-foot long banner of our logo, and it was like we used it for like 2 shows. And then afterwards, like, God, fuck this! I'm not setting this up. Are you serious? It was nice. It was detailed, very nice looking, logo banner. But it's just, God, some venues don't even have a way for you to hang it, so it's just fuck it. Yeah, cool, man. If Orange wants to sponsor the podcast, I'm all about it. I'll take one of those like tiny bass amps. That'll be cool.
Oh, shit. I just realized I never responded to you when you sent me that message. I remember seeing the message and then being like, I'll talk to him about that later.
Well, yeah, I was partially joking, but kind of just also testing the waters. If you guys have some kind of something we can talk about, then that'd be cool. We'll talk about that later. Yes.
Well, there are ways. I'm probably not going to write you a check, but there's probably ways.
No, yeah, I like music and equipment, so we'll talk.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be money.
And then, and then hit me back in 6 months.
Right.
Progress you've made.
Right. Check out I've gone up 37 followers, man.
I definitely am happy to help you keep getting people, though, man. I mean, if you want anybody else, you want access to anybody, let me know.
Hell yeah, dude. The one person I've been wanting to get on the podcast was Chino, because I know he loves beer. I know he was a big part of the Belching Beaver collaboration.
Yeah.
So I know that I could
know him, though. You've met them.
I've met him a few times, but I don't have his number. I don't have a way of reaching him. And if you tell him, hey, Eddie wants to talk to you, he's going to be like, who the fuck is Eddie? You know how many people...
He's the more elusive one, man, of all of them.
Sure. But it doesn't have to be Chino, but just... I want Chino because I know he likes beer, and I know I can geek out with him on beer.
The other ones don't drink beer that much.
Right. Like, I know we hung out with Frank that night, and he'll drink a Bud Light. Who gives a fuck? Frank is cool, too. I mean, if he wants to talk to me, we'll talk. But, yeah, any help with that would be cool. I know that they like beer. I was trying to reach out to the Belching Beaver people as well to see if they wanted to talk with them. Like, hey, I'm going to try and do this if you guys are interested. Okay. We'll see. But we'll be in touch.
Well, just keep it in mind, man, and I'll keep it in mind for you, too.
Awesome. And thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it, man.
Thanks, dude. Everybody check out Orange Amplifiers. They are seriously... They're popular for a reason. They're fucking awesome. My guitar player used one, which he kind of just inherited. It was hilarious. Somebody's like, yeah, you could borrow this this orange cab, and he just ended up using it forever. If we were to become a touring act at a younger time, we would have probably reached out to you for some kind of endorsement because we were already using it. So.
Yeah.
But cool. Let's hang out next time you're in town, dude. And thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks again. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, dude. Cheers.
All right, see you, Eddie.
Ask you a question, man. See if you know what's up. Think this. Who fuses the music with no illusions? Producing the blueprints. Clueless? Automator. Defy the laws of nature. Electronic monolith. Throw a jam upon the disc. The futuristic loop it with the quickness. Hyper-producing. Hydrogen fusion liquids. Keep your distance. Keep your distance. Who's that? Cannon. The combo so slamming, atomically reconstruct the whole canvas.